for a new one where there's still a little bit in here. It's just when it gets down to the bottom and becomes thick and gloopy, it can be quite difficult to apply, but as it stands at the moment it's not looking too bad. I'm just going to go over this part because it looks like its spine is breaking through, and I will go over the hair. Ready enough, thank you. Ready. Good boy, it's okay, it's only somebody going past. Ready. There's going to be 5 months under my doggy. I've just seen another little bit that I should have done with the tolerant sand. So I've just washed my brush then because I'd got quite a bit of it on the ferrule and I didn't want it getting into there and spoiling the brush too much. Because still has a decent point on this one at the moment. So I'm just going over the black parts on the hair. There we go. Okay, so that's that done. I'm just going to go back now to the tallow and sand and do the bit that I missed. Because this fella has a bit of a wrap around his foot here. Not quite sure what that is, but never mind. And I'm also going to do this part with the tolerant sand. It's a little bit paler, but it will do the job, as they say. There we are. Now what I'm going to do is the trousers. Go back to this fella. I'm going to do his trousers now, and his trousers are going to be like a khaki green. So for that one we want castellan green. I believe it is the dark of the two. Yes, castellan green. That's the one I'm going to be using for his trousers. You can see there's a little bit more to do with these ones than there are with these stage 2, because these ones are actually wearing clothes and they've got weapons. It's not just a case of slap the paint on and hope for the best. But I don't know why I said but at the end of that, I'm just trying to remember. I think I was going to say, but that doesn't usually stop us, but yeah, well. I just realised my mistake on these ones. I haven't actually gone round and cleaned up the models first of all by taking the mold lines off. It does make a difference if you do that, but there again, saying that, they're not going to be picked up and studied and put on display, so yeah, near enough's good enough in my opinion. Okay, so while we're waiting for the trousers to dry, we can do the green parts of his shoulders, and for that one we're going to be using, as usual, Caliban green. In fact, no, we're not. We have another little thing to do first of all, which is the spine of this fella. I know there's not much here to see, but I've done it on the other one where we can see the bone. Showing through. Alright, so we're going to be using them as gloves, so I'm just going to do a quick, actually that should be red. Okay, so what I'm going to do is once it's, we'll get the Caliban green done. Once the Caliban green is done, hopefully that black I'll just put on will be dry enough for me to mix up some more red and orange to apply to part of the skin or the flesh area that I've missed. Okay, so we have, as I say, a couple of areas that we need to do over with the red and orange. So we'll mix a bit of it, because it seemed to dry quite quickly. It might be because of the heat from the lights as well. As I said, with these ones we're making a kind of a dark orangey colour, and this part needs doing. We can go over here as well, where we've caught with the black when we've been painting the spine. There's a couple of places here that needs touching up. That's okay, that's not a problem, that's sorted. But it's this one now that we need to do, and that's it. looking at this, it does look like he's wearing a glove, so that's how I'm going to do it. It certainly doesn't look like it is. It is wrap. I just noticed that. You can see his fingernails. So we'll just paint his hand, and then we'll get the Talon sand out and paint that for a wrap. See, that's the thing we're doing these models. You can make your mind up about something and all of a sudden realise that you decided wrong. Okay, so there's that done. So while we're waiting for that now to dry, let's go to this fella again, the Balor Brown. And manicure, pedicure, and dental work as well. We don't need to do too much with the teeth because there's not much there you can see, but that will do the job for that. He is now finished as far as the basic painting goes. The only thing I want to show you next is how I weathered it, make it look so the barricade is a bit, what's the word I'm looking for, shot at. That's not the one I wanted, that's the one I wanted, because I've seen here that we have a couple of very dark bits where it's not gone over, the paint's not covered the black terribly well. Which, okay, isn't much of a problem, but better sorting it out than not. Okay, so that's that done. Now the problem we have is that we have 2 lots of washes to go on this before we can do anything else. So what I'm going to do, the Carolberg Crimson is going to be the wash that goes over all this fleshy areas, and the, where are you? Is that you in here as well? Half Nightshade, Null Oil, and Agrax Earthshade is going to be going over all the clothing. So we're going to do the fleshy areas because the last bit I touched was the clothing, so we'll do the fleshy areas with this. I'll do the Agrax Earthshade off camera when this dries. Okay, and when we come back it will all be washed and ready for highlighting. Okay, so with the Agrax Earthshade it's going to be exactly the same as what I'm doing here, only brown and on the clothing. So it's going to be on all the clothing, the wraps, everything that's not the biological part of this model. and then once we've highlighted it all, I will be going over yet again with the Druchii Violets, because I do like that for flesh tones. It gives a nice pinky purplish shadow colour, which is kind of what we're looking for. And I'm just going to wipe off where I've put the wash. Again, do it completely over the clothing and then wipe off, because we don't want that bit being this colour, because that's going to be a brown. But you want the Caribou Crimson all over the parts that are red. It's not as dark a colour as the Druchii Violets. It's not as strong a colour as, it's not a darker colour, or a stronger colour rather, as the Druchii Violets, but then again, saying that, the Druchii Violet's not as strong a colour as the Drakenhof Nightshade, which I used on the model I've just finished leaping over the barricade. But they all have their uses, they all seem to give a different cast to the models. And give each one its own individual look, which is what we want. Now, as I say, in the next video what we're going to be doing is highlighting all these. Obviously, as usual, we will have not just the highlights of the flesh and the bony areas, but we will be doing another wash. So the Druchii Violet on the flesh and the Null Oil on the bony areas. But for now, that for these is all I can do. There we go. So as you can see, it's building up nicely in the shadow areas and the recesses. So we'll put that to one side. I will wash this brush. I will get out my thicker brush, bring your man here back into play, and grab the Rhinox hide. Okay, so this is what we're doing to make the base look shot at and worn. So it's a bit of the Rhinox hide, a spot of the Abaddon black to make it darker, mix them both together, splay open your bristles and just dab. In fact, there's not enough of the Abaddon black there for my liking. I do like it a little more darker. There we go. As you can see, it's looking a bit it's looking a bit worse for wear now. and try and leave a little bit of the purpley colour showing through the and we're going all up. Okay, so the black and the rhinoxide is drying out, so we need to add more. The rhinoxide is quite a good colour for a lot of things. It's the one I use for doing scratches on vehicles. I find it to be a good mix with the what you call it, the oops, good job there's nothing in that one. A good mix with the tin bits to make like a reddish, like a brownish rusty effect. And this brush is actually so jaffed now that I can't use it again, so I'm going to have to dispose of it in some way. Mind you, I could just use it for dry brushing. It's not one I can actually use for painting anymore, but it's a good job. I have another brand new standard brush. Okay, so oh yes, before we go, there's something I forgot from the last video, which I should have done but didn't. It involves again your man here, and that's Nuln Oil on top of the base that we've done. So there we go. That's it. So now he's definitely finished, and these two are getting there. As I said, what I'll do with these two now is I will go over the brown areas with the Agraks Earthshade, on the clothing and everything with the Agraks Earthshade, and when it's all dry we'll come back and continue and get these finished, hopefully in the next video. So until then, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.